Okay, so hi guys, it's Miss Lollipop and welcome back to another video. So today this is part 2 of a continuation of my favourite CC creators for women's custom content, and I'm continuing it in this episode. So obviously I wanted to make an intro since I didn't realise I was going to split the video into 2 last time. So right now there isn't really any intro attached to the video, so it sort of just jumps in. So I wanted to obviously come here and talk to you guys a little bit anyways. Alongside that, I also wanted to go ahead and say thank you guys so much for 9k. That is just absolutely incredible. I can't even believe we hit that many subscribers. Like, that is just crazy to me. The channel was sort of like blown up really quickly. I mean, blown up for me at least. We gained like 2,250 subscribers in like the past 28 days, which is like just incredible. And I just wanted to tell you guys how much I love you all. And I love your support, and yeah, it was really nice of you guys, so thank you. So yeah, I'll go ahead and let you watch the video now, and I'll speak to you guys at the end. Okay, so I hate to break it to you guys, but this is my favorite CC creator for hair. Okay, like this is my favorite, at the top of the list for hair right now, at least. Wings, you are up there. Okay, you are right up there. These are all my favourite hairs. I mean, the only quibble that I have to make, which you can get around it, which is how I'll explain, is that Wings colours almost, they're very washed out. So really there's only a black and the white and the blondes, but between the browns aren't like a strong brown. They're not a very dark brown like sometimes you would see like a chocolate brown. They're quite a washed out brown, or like a dirty blonde with a little bit, you know, with hints of brown in it. So you can get around that because there are certain creators who have made recolors of Wings hair, or you know, retextures of Wings hair where they've changed the color, which is perfect because it means that you can get a different option of colors. However, in terms of the base mesh, in terms of the actual mesh that they have recolored, it's Wings hair, and in terms of the style, they are incredible. All of these hairs I have in my game and I currently use, okay? Every single one. They're all amazing. They look so great on the character. The wispy bits of the hairs, you know, everything sort of hanging off just here, they're absolutely perfect, and I would suggest you guys go ahead and download every single hair on here. And again, this is on the Sims resource, so it's perfect for you guys to get. And I'll go ahead and link them in the description so you guys can go ahead and get these yourself. So let's go ahead and hop right into game and let's have a look at some of Wings' hairs actually on The Sims. Okay, so let's have a look at some of Wings' hairs actually in the game. So you can define them by having just like a little W just down here, and then it actually tells you the model number or the actual number of the hair because they name them all. So you guys can go ahead and download any ones that you like. Some of them are cut off again, but it's fine. So I'll go ahead and show you what they look like. So here are some of the examples, and you see what I mean in terms of the hair quality. The roots always start off darker, which is a very common thing to happen in real life. You will always get darker roots normally than your actual hair colour. I don't know why that is. I mean, unless you've got natural virgin hair that hasn't been dyed, then obviously normally you would always have darker roots. Oh, I just like flinged it round. There's always a few wispies, which again, you know, a lot of people have that. You know, a lot of people have baby hair. Me, myself, I have a lot of baby hair. Never cut that off since I was, you know, a spawn. But you see what I mean. You know, that it looks very natural, and in terms of the shape of everything, it looks great. However, the colours is where there's an issue for me, at least. Okay, so there's not a very big option of colours. If you see what I mean, the first, all of these didn't really change much. Okay, so we're getting darker, but we haven't seen a brown. Like, this is more of a dark, like a cool toned brown. So there's no chocolatey browns. There's no warm brown. This is a very cool toned brown, and then we go straight into black, and there's no in between. Okay, so if I show you all the others, we've got some bright colored hair, we've still got some cool toned hair, we've got, you know, some brights, blonde again, or pink. Nothing. Like, there's no in between. So that's the only quibble that I have, and some of the hairs are slightly different, so depending on which one you go for example, this one, I think is a little bit more warm toned than the other ones. This one is getting away from that a little bit, but you see what I mean in terms of the colours. So I'll go ahead and show you some of Wing's hairs so you guys can get an idea of them. But if you are annoyed with the colours, or not annoyed, but if you have an issue with the colours like I do, make sure you go ahead and have a look and see if there's retextures, because for example this one just here is a retexture, I think, or is that directly from Wings? It might be directly from Wings as well as that one. There's a few that I have downloaded that are, you know, recolours of Wing's hair. So go ahead and, you know, get yourself on those and download some of those, because you don't always want Sims with cool toned hair, okay? So you just got to embrace it. So go ahead and get yourself some, you know, retextures of their hair if that is an issue for you. So let's go ahead and scroll through some of the hairs, and obviously you'll probably see these pop up a lot in my series because they are my favourite hairs to use. So
you laugh at me, take me to a place I'm calling for, open up the doors I'm knocking on, no, I'm losing control, be the one to leave my fantasy, show you crave your hands all over me,
right, so as you can see, there was a sure enough reason as to why their hairs are my favourite. You've probably seen why, because you've seen them and you've loved them, as I have, or maybe you haven't, but if you have, go ahead and get downloading them, because they are incredible and they're my most used hairs in any of my games. So go ahead and get yourself one of those if you haven't. So let's move on to the next CC creator for, you know, for clothing or for hair or for accessories. Okay, so next up on the list is GOPPOLS me, which I would pronounce as Goppols. I have no idea how to say it. I don't know if it's English or not, but we're going to just say the whole name. So GOPPOLS me, or we could just pronounce it to G me, maybe. And we'll just shorten it down. But anyways, the CC on this website, I've only recently got into in terms of the past maybe 5 or 4 months or so, but I went through all of the list and downloaded all of the CC that I thought I would be using. So for example, a lot of the lipsticks I use, a lot of the blushes, all of the eyebrows are amazing. They're really, really good. I commonly use these in game, which you'll see on my Sims if you've watched any of my series as well. The hairlines that they do are incredible. They're really, really realistic in comparison to a lot of the other ones that I've seen. So personally, I always like to use their hairlines. So you can see what the hairline does if you look at this picture just here. It just adds this little hairline instead of it all being looking a bit, you know, ratty at the top, should we say? And it makes the game look a lot more realistic. I use quite a few of their makeup pieces, like their liners and their lipsticks. And I use a few of the eyeshadows as well. So all in all, it's a lot of makeup and skin details that I download from here. I'd say all in all, over all the brands, this brand is probably the one that I use most for eyebrows, just because I prefer the theme and the look of them. But I tell you what, let's go ahead and have a look in game, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. And then you guys can get an idea of if you like them or not, okay? Okay, so first of all, we will start off with some of the eyebrows. So in the game, you can obviously see their little logo just here. So a lot of these eyebrows I use quite a lot. In terms of the swatches, they are really, really good. Very, very realistic swatches, because I normally find that these sort of colours, they don't go with like blonde hair, because there's a lot of people that have blonde hair but have darker eyebrows, so like, you know, like a brown eyebrow. However, they normally have an eyebrow that isn't as dark as this, and they're not normally greyed out like that. They're normally more brown, which I find that this is more suited to the hairline of somebody who's got blonde hair, which is perfect for me. As well as that, they also go really light as well, but you can still see the eyebrow on the sim. So if you wanted to make a really light haired eyebrow, and even the, you know, the red tones as well, I normally find that all the colour swatches for these are really good. But I'll go ahead and show you a few of these ones. There's not really any need for me to skip through and show you guys, because I haven't got so many of these ones just here. So I can show you a few of these and you guys can get an idea. You see what I mean? You know, you can see the hairs, they're drawn on. But I really like the way that they look on the sim, and the detail that they give. So let's go ahead and head into the skin details. So I've got a few of the skin details in here. So we'll have a look at the ones at the bottom, I'd say, first. So we'll work our way up from the bottom to the top. So what have we got here? We've got a nose overlay just here. So we've got a nose overlay just here, which adds a little bit more dimension to the nose, which I like. We've also got these ones here, which are contour, which is really subtle but perfect. And you can go ahead and change the shade of this. So depending on what sort of colour skin tone your sim has got, you can decide on what sort of how harsh you want their contour to look. So that's always really useful. With this one, this is some light freckles, which are quite nice for like a really subtle look, just dotting the nose and across the tops of the cheeks. And they also come in like a pink, so like sort of like a light flush look. You've also got some more contour as well, which again goes in different colours, but is slightly more further down than this one. So this one is further back, whereas this one slightly more comes into the face more. We have facial contouring, which goes ahead and adds it all the way around the edges of the sim. Now, I normally use these ones just here, so the ones at the top, because these ones add a highlight, which is great. But for some reason, whenever you use these with like a skin or something, I don't know what it is that ruins it, because I have had a look and I didn't find any really good explanations as to why it makes this pixelated area go around here. And I was hoping maybe it wouldn't look the same in game, but when you take the Sims in game, this is still here, which is quite annoying. But you know what, you can survive with it if you just go ahead and use these ones. You can always get yourself a makeup like a blush, and get yourself like a highlighter just here, and then that way that will highlight, and it will, you can use it as a contour like that by using makeup combined with it. So that's always fine. And then also the hairlines are like to die for, which is really useful. And obviously they have a slightly different one just here that comes into the face a little bit more, which depending on which sort of hair you're pairing it with, you can decide on which sort of one you would like. And I'd say that is probably it. They also have a few skin overlays, which I use a few times. It depends on what sort of sim I'm using. But these ones are really sort of blended out, which makes for a really nice effect as long as you've got contour on the sim. But if you haven't, it sort of makes the sim look quite flat, like their face look quite flat. So I'd go ahead and pair it with a contour just to give them a bit of definition in their face as well. And I'd say that's about it. So let's go ahead and hop right into the makeup, because I've got a few areas of the makeup that you guys would want to see. Okay, so we've got a Fenty Beauty dupe on the Sims. And we've got a pink and a grey, pink and a gold. And I really like these because these are like imitating like a highlight in the middle, which I think when you come away from the sim really makes their eyes stand out a lot more, which I like. This one just here, I use quite often. I really like a smoky look like that, and pairing that with some eyelashes, which I'll go ahead and give you like an example. Pairing this, maybe they're a little bit too big. Pairing it with some eyelashes and some liner is perfect, and I love the effects it creates. And when you zoom out, you can still see it, which I love, because a lot of them, they sort of just, you look away and it's sort of just like a smudge on their face, whereas on this you can see all the colours in depth, and in game it looks really nice as well. You've also got this one just here, which again smokes out the corners, which is really nice on Asian Sims who have got monolids, or I can't remember the other name for it. Is it double lid? I can't remember what it's, monolid and something else. And I really like it to create that that effect on a sim, because sometimes when you want to create different types of looking sims, it's really hard to do that in the game, because I feel like CC makes it more accommodating for you to have sims and give them more customization and suit them to your sort of needs and what you want them to look like. So we've got this one. This one's probably my most used one. This one is incredible. I love it so much, and all the different colors that it comes in more of a brown to a softer Comes in the black. Oh my god, this is amazing. I love this eyeshadow so much. You guys need to go ahead and grab it. So I think that should be about it. Let's move on to eyeliner. So we've got these ones just here. And again, it comes in a few other colours to dull it down a little bit. You've got this one just here, which is, you know, slightly smaller. It's not as smudged as the other one. We've also got this one just here, which is further down, and again helping to create that sort of Asian-eyed look. And as you can see, I've got quite a lot of their makeup in my game that I always use. We've got one that sits along the bottom line as well, so you've got eyeliner that sits along the bottom lash. You've got this one which is more smoked out and further down from the wing. And then you've got this one just here, which is just a tiny little wing that adds a little bit on the like a quarter of the way along the bottom of the eye, which is really nice for like a subtle effect. So that is always good. And then we've also got some ones up here. So we've got some nice blushes. I can use these, but on a sim of this sort of colour, I normally find that that's a bit too much blush. So personally, I go for something a little bit softer, like these ones, and go for more of a like a orangey shade, not so pink, because I think that these are really light pink, like these ones, which are perfect for lighter sims, but on a darker sim, it just looks a little bit too Barbie for me. So you can go ahead and select these ones, which still have a pink effect, but they're sort of the perfect shade for a slightly darker skin tone. So I'll probably go ahead and show you my most used lips. So in terms of my most used ones, these ones are used quite a lot. So they come in a normal matte, which is really nice. I really like this colour. But then they also come in the option of having it glossed, which is incredible because I love a good gloss. I think this looks a lot like, you tell you what, this sim looks a lot like Ariana Grande. Do you see this like I do? I don't know if it's just me, but anyways, I'm crazy. Yeah, so I really like these. They come in two different options. You've got more of a sheer one just here, which, you know, sort of sits on the skin quite nicely. Just makes like a sort of like a, I don't know, like you've got like a small amount of lipstick on there. We've also got some more mattes just down here. A little bit of teeth showing through on that one, so that's quite nice as well. And I'd say that's probably it for those ones. There's no need to show you like all of them, you know, you're not missing out on every single one. And then we've also got a few of the eyes or the contacts that I use. So let me just pick the ones. I think it is, yeah, it's these ones just here. So these are G1s, so if you want to go ahead and find them and get them in your game, they're called G1. I use these quite often, and they come in loads of different colours, but I like that shine that they create on the sim. I like that it, you know, they come in loads of different colours. I just like the effect that it gives the sim. I think it adds a lot more realism, and again, when you come away from the sim, you can still see the eye colour. It's not like a lot of them when they blend in, but they sort of like blend in. And you can't really see it when you come away from the sim. I like that the colours are quite intense and you can still see that on the sim. But you can go for more dull colours, like if you wanted like more of a hazel brown, you can always go for those as well. So they are always an option for you guys. And I think that is about it. So let's go ahead and drop into the next creators CC. But again, if you guys want to go ahead and grab this stuff that I just showed you on, you know, this turn, from this creator, go ahead and get the link in the description and scroll to their page and just pick out the bits that you like and go ahead and download those for your collection. Okay, so next up is MissParaply. Currently, I'm not really sure what's going on because the site has been under development for maybe, you know, a year or like 8 months or so. And although it says it's been under development, nothing has really changed. There's been no new things added, so I'm not sure if the creators have stopped creating content for the moment at least. But right now the content is still bomb, and you guys need to go ahead and get on this because these retextures and recolors of these hairs that they do are incredible, and a lot of these are my actual these are my favorite creators' hairs, and then she's gone ahead and retextured them because the thing that I like is I use a lot of different hairs on different sims of different lengths, different, you know, whatever suits them. I like the fact that this creator does loads of different hairs, but they do the same color swatches on all the hairs, which is really useful because if you have a sim when you want to use two different creators' hairs, you can't always match up the color correctly. So you have one sim that's got maybe a lighter pink hair, one sim that's got a darker pink hair, and it's kind of annoying because their hair changes throughout the two like outfits that you've got them using, which this is quite useful because all the colors are exactly the same. So on any MissParaply you know, hair that you use, or at least the retexture of the hair, they'll all come in the exact same colors, so it'll always be selected and you won't have to go through and find the correct color or, you know, the closest match, which I always find really useful as well. And in terms of the actual hairs, in terms of the recolor, they're probably one of my most used hairs as well. They also recolor Wings hairs, which again, as you guys know, they are my favorite. And again, Wings hairs, like I said, can be a bit off with the colors. So this is really useful to have because it enables me to sort of adjust the color and have all my Sims have the same color throughout all their outfits so that their hair isn't just randomly changing between outfits. So go ahead and click on here and grab yourself some hairs. So what you have to do is load it up, and then you're going to need to go ahead and download the mesh, which will be linked here. So go ahead and download that, and then you can either select all colors or just the natural colors as well. So depending on if you want all the pinks and the blues and the greens, go ahead and select all colors. If not, select natural colors. But you just have to make sure that you do download the mesh, because otherwise this hair isn't actually going to show up in your game, and it's going to be a bit of a mess. So just make sure you download the mesh with them, okay? Let's go and have a look in the game, and I will show you some examples of MissParaply's hair. Okay, so we're in game now. So this is some examples of her hair. So as you can see, there's loads of different color swatches up. Color swatches? Swatch? What's a swatch, Lauren? There's loads of different color swatches up here, and I find the colors are perfect. So if you want to find just the correct blonde, you've got yellow blonde, you've got white blonde, you've got, you know, loads of different things. You've got chocolate browns, you've got, you know, more cool tone browns, you've got more rich auburn tone browns, you've got loads of different ones, and also the other colors of the hairs, the pinks and everything, like the non-natural colors, they are really, really nice as well. And I really just like the texture of the hairs. I think they look really nice in game. So let me go ahead and pick out a few of my favorites, and I will show you some of MissParaply's hair, and you'll see what I mean by, if I click on this hair, it will keep the same color swatch. Do you see what I mean? So for example, if I'm choosing like 2 everyday outfits, and when I go ahead and add a second outfit and change her hair, as long as I choose another one of MissParaply's hair, the hair color will stay consistent throughout all the different hairs that I pick from her, which is really useful. But anyways, I'll go ahead and show you guys some of the hairs that we've got on offer just here. Right, so I showed you a few of MissParaply's hairs, and you get the idea in terms of the colours and in terms of what sort of, you know, texture of the hairs that they use, and you know, the sort of ideas that they create. So let's go ahead and jump right into the next CC creator, so I can go ahead and show you some of their content. Right, so next up is Shinydim Sims. So you've seen a few of these. You have to make sure you go through, because a lot of these are also Sims 3 retextures, which you're not going to want because you download them for the Sims 4. Obviously, they're not going to work. So make sure you scroll down to the Sims 4 versions, but there's a lot of retextures of different hairs. So again, you would have to go and download the original mesh and then download the retexture of the mesh. But in terms of the quality, you've also got a lot of children and toddlers hairs, which is amazing and useful to have. You've got loads and loads of really nice hairs in here. So go ahead and, you know, look on this site yourself, have a scroll down and see which, you know, ideas that you like. Have a look and see which, you know, which ones you want to download. So let's go ahead and have a look at some of the CC actually in the game. So in terms of their hairs, it is actually defined by like an S up here. So it sort of looks like a dollar without the 2 lines through it. It's just 1 line. And again, these are retextures of different hairs. So I'm pretty sure this hair is from Nightcrawler, if I'm correct. So this is obviously a retexture of that hair. And again, it does the exact same thing because the colors are consistent throughout. So if I go ahead and click on this one just here, it will repeat the colors. Obviously with this one, it is an ombre version of this hair, which you can get as a non-ombre version, but you get the idea. If you use different hairs for them, they'll always stay the exact same color, at least at the root. And that's really, really useful. So a lot of these hairs, again, I use and I like to use throughout all of my Sims. So let's go ahead and scroll through some of them and see if you guys like the retextures, and then I'll come back to you after you've seen a few. Okay, so I went ahead and showed you some of their hairs so you guys can decide if you like them. Personally, I really like them. I really like the colour options. There's loads of different ones, exactly like the other person that we just looked at, MissParaply, for the retextures as well, which is perfect because I love having loads of different colours to customise your Sims with. And I think the retextures are perfect and I really, really like the look of them. Certain hairs you will need, you know, a hairline for to add that in the skin details because I think it almost makes the hair, but you guys can go ahead and grab some of those and pair them with the hairs depending on obviously what sort of style you want to go for. So let's go ahead and jump right into the next CC creator and let's move on. Okay, so next up is Nightcrawler, which you would have seen quite a few of these hairs in my game. I've really got back into Nightcrawler recently. I really like a lot of their hairs that they create. So in terms of their hairs, obviously they're no, you know, retextures or anything. They're just straight from the bag. Very, very talented creator. I'm very impressed with all of these. And I do try to download pretty much all of them. They're really useful to have. I need to go back through and double check that I've got all of them because if I miss out on any, then I'll be upset. So I'll have to go through and make sure I've got all of these downloaded. But in terms of the styles, they're really, really nice. And they also make a lot of these styles in a braided version as well, which is really useful, creating more ethnicity in your game, which I personally really, really like. But in terms of all of their colour options, again, I really like those as well. So let's go ahead and jump right into game and I'll show you some of Nightcrawler's pieces that I've got inside my game at the moment. Right, so luckily Nightcrawlers are probably the easiest to identify in game. In terms of the thumbnail, it's got Nightcrawler just written down the bottom, and normally they've got like a grey background instead of a white background, which means that they're really, really easy to identify if you want to go ahead and pick out certain CC from them. But in terms of the options that we've got here, I really, really like the way that the hair, you know, blends with the sim. I really like the colour options of the hair. So if we go ahead and scroll through a lot of them, the colour options are, you know, amazing. You've got all the perfect blondes that you would want. You've got a lot of the browns that I was looking for. You haven't got necessarily a cool tone brown, which would be quite useful to have. You've got greys. But again, you've got retextures, so don't worry if, you know, it's not the exact colour. I'm sure you can go ahead and just search up the name of the hair and find a retexture of it if you want it in a different colour that it isn't offered in just up here. But let's go ahead and scroll through some of the ones that I use in my game. And then you guys can decide if you wanted to go ahead and download those.
Paint the skies, only you can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me move. You can make me move.
Okay, so personally, I think you can see a difference, which I wanted to go ahead and obviously show you guys. These are some of the older hairs from Nightcrawler, just down here. And I personally think you can see a major difference in between the quality of these hairs in comparison to the quality of these hairs, which I think is incredible to see the progression of a CC creator, and you can see that they're improving with their arts that they have. And I really, really like the look of the new CC. I do really like the look of the old CC as well. However, it's just I prefer the look of the newer CC. It more suits my taste. But obviously you guys should go ahead and download all of these hairs because they are incredible, and they make so many different hairs that will probably suit every single sim that you've got in your game. If you want to go ahead and download any hairs, I probably suggest Wings hairs and Nightcrawler's hairs. They're probably my most favorited ones, and they're going to be the most used in the game, in my aspects at least. So you guys should go have a look for me. So let's go ahead and move on to the next CC creator and see what I've got in store for you. Right, so next up is SimplyPixelated. Now, this CC creator, I'm not sure if they're still making content because the last time anything was posted was October 2017, which was quite a while ago. So I'm assuming they're not posting any more CC. But in terms of the CC quality that they did make back in 2017, I am incredibly impressed with it because I feel like they were way above anyone else. And I don't know if they were big back when they first posted these, but at least I know that they are quite big now in terms of their downloads. They've got, you know, 1,690,000. So in terms of the quality of these, I really like them. If you've seen my 100 baby challenge, the hairs that Kelsey wears are actually these ones just here. And obviously they're perfect in terms of the colours. I really, really like them because they're completely different to any other CC creators that I've seen. So personally, I really like them. They are retextures of hairs. So you would have to download the original mesh, which are just it says here, but if you go ahead and click on the actual name, they link the mesh just here. So if you paste that into your search bar, you can go ahead and find the original mesh and then download this one to sit on top of it. So let me go ahead and show you some of SimplyPixelated retextures in game. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Right, so we're in game just now, and SimplyPixelated again is really easy to identify because they've just got their name across the brand just here. So as we can see, they offer a lot of different colours. I really like the highlights in the hair. I like the way that looks on the sim. Personally, I'm pretty sure Kelsey has this hair just here, which is in the darker with like a lighter ombre coming down to the bottom. But I think all of their hairs are really nice. And all the colours that it's offered in are really nice as well. So I think you guys should go ahead and download these retextures because they are really useful to have in your game. And they just look incredible in game, personally, I think. So I'll go ahead and show you a few more of them. There's the space throughout, so I'll have to scroll through and find them. And then I'll go ahead and come back to you, and I'll put this on speed 3 whilst we do this.
I feel again, we're bringing this back to life.
Okay, so I'd say that's about it for SimplyPixelated hairs. I just think they're really useful to have in your game, and they make for some amazing ombre looks. And I think they're really good to have in your game, and I think they're worth a download, so I suggested them to you guys. So go ahead and get on downloading those in the description below. So let's go ahead and jump into the next CC creator, and I'll show you guys what I've got in store for you. Okay, so next up is a must-have for me. Okay, it's crazy how I didn't have this before, and I don't even know how I lived. So what this is it is a mod that removes the eyelashes in game. Now the reason why I put this in custom content is because it relates to me in terms of the CC that I use for the eyelashes. That I wouldn't be able to use my eyelashes without this because it looked horrible. So this is what it looks like in game. So I'll go ahead and show you if I just zoom in on the picture. There we go. So you guys get a better look. So this removes the eyelashes. So you can see this is the one with the EA eyelashes, right? So they've gone ahead and taken those off. So right now they're using Kato's eyelash, mod or CC in game at the moment, plus EA's eyelashes, which are disgusting. They're just one big black blob, which I absolutely hate. So they go ahead and remove that, and they just create the look of the sim. So it basically looks like a small amount of eyeliner on the top of the Sim's eye, just because they've had to smudge out the black slightly around the edge of the eye. And here's what they look like without any eyelashes added. But I'll go ahead and show you guys in game what I mean. So in game, you can see that, as you see just on here, all of the eyelashes are completely removed. So I'm pretty sure these have changed. Normally these have like a black bar at the top of them so that you could see where the eyelash is. But as you can see, there is absolutely no eyelash just there. So they do look a bit bare when you have the Sims without the EA eyelashes. So if you don't have Kato's eyelashes installed in your game, which are just these ones here, or wait, I didn't even say them right. Kijiko eyelashes. Go ahead and get yourself them downloaded if you wanted this mod, because they pair perfectly. When you go ahead and add these eyelashes on top, and then the sim doesn't have any eyelashes in the game, it just looks incredible, and it creates that look that you just want. Okay, so just please get yourself on this, okay? So let's go ahead and jump right into the next CC. Okay, so next up is my default oh, did you see that? Next up is my default eyelashes that I use in game. So these are called Meteor eyes, which again, I'm going to go ahead and leave the link in the description so you guys can go ahead and get your hands on them. But in terms of the quality of these eyes, I really like them. And I think they look perfect within the game. A lot of the time I might use a contacts on top, depends on what sort of sim I'm looking for. But a lot of the time I can just use these eyes and just leave them without putting any contacts on my Sims. But I'll go ahead and show you them in game so you guys get an idea. So right now Cameron's actually got the eyes on. So just here, I've also got 2 sets of custom content eyes, which these ones are just here, which I don't use as often. So I'd probably suggest these ones to you guys. Plus these are a little bit more Maxis Match friendly. So if you are, Maxis Match queen, go ahead and get yourself downloading these, because they do look perfect within the Maxis Match, era of the game, if you wanted to, have that suit your game in there. And they come in loads of different colours that suit all of the EA colours. Oh, not down there. So they're basically, you've got all the other colours on here. So you guys aren't missing out on any colours. and I think they are perfect to use. So I would suggest that you guys go ahead and download these. So let's go ahead and jump right into the last CC that I have suggested for you guys, which is my default skin that I currently have on my sim right now. So as you can see, I currently have no skin details and no makeup on my sim, and they have this look to them, which again I was discussing just earlier, I think is amazing. So the skin that I use is called Amaretto, okay, which is by Viiavi. I hope I didn't just butcher your name. So it is perfect. It is like a blend of loads of different other skins, so you can see who was incorporated in this. So different nose and skin, different eye bags, different breasts and face overlays, and this is also available for all ages and genders, which is perfect because it means that you haven't got to go and find a skin for every single sim. And I think this is perfect. You don't even have to use an overlay over the top. I think this skin is perfect just to use even by itself, and a lot of sims I do just use this and maybe add like a nose overlay on, just because I feel like I need that. So I could go you guys to go ahead and download it, and what it looks like in game you guys have seen all the way throughout this video. So this is obviously what she looks like without any skins added, because I just wanted to go ahead and leave you guys to have a look at her. But in terms of the options, I'll go ahead and load up like a family of men and women. Okay, so let's go ahead and load up my Get Famous Sims, just because I think they're perfect for the occasion. So let's go ahead and replace those with Cameron. Bye, Cameron. Right, so right now she does have a skin on. Let me go ahead and take that off. There we go. So here's what she looks like without the skin. So this is what it looks like on toddlers. So it does look very, very nice. Right now he has a skin on. Let me go ahead and take that off as well. This is what he looks like without the skin, and again it is still a really, really nice skin that it creates on the men, and I think it looks really, really nice in game. And I like the fact that it has like a little bit of nose shine on the top of the nose as well, which is perfect, and a little bit down the bridge of the nose. The lips are great on men. On women, it depends. I normally prefer to put a little bit of lipstick on them. This default skin applies to all of the sims within a neighborhood. So all of your sims in the neighborhood will also have this skin, which I think is perfect because a lot of the original Maxis Match sims that you see walking around, like the goths, and you get the idea, all the townies that are around in the world, they all look very samey, and I feel like this completely changes up their look, which I really like, because the sims honestly can get a little bit stale when you see the same sims walking around and around all the time. I think this sort of changes up your game a little bit, so I would suggest you guys go ahead and download this, but you've got to bear in mind it is a default, so you won't be able to go ahead and change back to the other skin if you don't like it. You have to just stick with it unless you want to go ahead and delete it from your game, okay? So if you want to go ahead and add overlays over the top or other skins, you can always do that. So for example, this is just a skin just here that completely changes the look of the sim. You can go ahead and always add that over the top, because that does work, but you will have to obviously manually apply that to the sim if you want them to have a slightly different look. And I'll go ahead and show you on Yuki and take her skin off, and this is what Yuki looks like without it. And again, it looks really, really nice in game. I think it creates a really, really nice look for your sims. So you guys should probably go ahead and download that, because that is probably one of my favorites. So I'd say we are probably done with reviewing everything. I would like to have covered more clothing in the game, but there's random pieces of clothing that I've got in my game that I am obsessed with, but I don't really have a lot of the other things from the creators, which means that they're not maybe one of my favorite CC creators. So I might go ahead and do a video on my favorite CC, like specifically pieces that I'm currently really into right now. But for the moment, this has been my favorite CC creators from 2018, at least all of the ones that I've been using. So yeah, I wanted to go ahead and show you guys all of those. So I'm going to go ahead and end this episode off here, or end this video off here. And I hope you guys go ahead and download those, or I hope you guys like the CC that I've used in this video, so you guys can go ahead and grab some of that for yourself, because some of you have been going crazy asking me, who are my favorite CC creators, where do I find all my CC, where is my main go-to. You guys have seen, because I've shown you all the links, so you guys can go ahead and grab that yourself. So all the links will be in the description for you guys to go ahead and grab your hands on those. So I'm going to go ahead and end this episode off here. So as always, if you guys enjoyed, remember to leave a like on the video. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comment section below. If you've got any questions about the CC, if you want to leave any suggestions for me for future videos, go ahead and leave them down there as well. And if you enjoyed the video and you are new, go ahead and click the subscribe button for me. And if you want to, you can click that little notification bell and be notified every single time I upload, which will mean that if you guys want to go ahead and maybe start one of my series or start watching them, then you can always get into those as well, because I do make those, and those are my most commonly used or commonly created things on my channel. And obviously, if you are existing subscriber, then thank you for watching. So as always, I love you all, and I'll speak to you in the next episode. Bye guys.